So the last video we started to look at multiplying things with exponents and how we can simplify it. And what we saw in the couple of examples we've done is that we actually add the exponents together. And so that's our first rule here. When we are multiplying stuff with exponents, we actually end up adding the exponents, because if we wrote it out, x to the m times x to the n, x to the m would be x written out m times, x to the n would be x written out n times, and so we'll put it together, we have x written out m plus n times. Now before we do an example with this, using our formula now, a real quick note here. If we had 2 to the third times 3 squared, we could write that out as 2 3 times, and we could write 3 out as 3 2 times. And so we'd have 2 times 2 times 2, 2 written out 3 times 3 times 3, the 3 written out twice. And we could simplify. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8, 3 times 3 is 9, and we get 72. The important idea here is that we can't add the exponents when the things that we're multiplying are different. When the things we're multiplying here are different, we're not able to add the exponents. It's just not an option. Okay, it has to be like with like. And that becomes an issue in our next example. 4c to the second d to the fifth times 9c to the fourth d to the eighth. So, being multiplication, we can rearrange things so that like is with like. So we can put our numbers together, 4 times 9, and then put our c's together, c squared times c to the fourth, and we can put our d's together, d to the fifth times d to the eighth. And now we can just go through and start using our properties to simplify. Now 4 times 9, that's a multiplication problem with numbers, so we do our standard normal multiplication. 4 times 9 is 36. Be careful you don't add the 4 and the 9. Right? Those are not exponents, those are numbers, so they have to follow the number rule for arithmetic. The exponent rule, though, says we need to add. So when we have c to the second, c to the fourth, we go ahead and we add 2 plus 4, and we get c to the sixth. And then d to the fifth times d to the eighth, 5 plus 8 gives me d to the 13th power. And so we get the answer 36c to the sixth, d to the 13th. We're going to go back a little later and see some more problems with multiplying things with exponents as we continue on. But in the next video, we're going to turn to the problem of division. What happens when we divide things with exponents.